Uh-huh. There it is. There it is. Man, I make sure my energy good. Yeah, I think we're good. Energy is great. All right. Time to just raise the voice a little bit. Shit like that, man. There it is, man. What's going on, world? Let's get correct, man. Let's get it right here. I had the real flavorful brown sugar maple coffee a while ago. I finished that. You know what I'm saying? The other conference room next door, they had some leftover coffee and water. Let me go ahead and show you real quick. So, I just finished the first recording. Now we're doing the second. Between the first and the second, I went to the bathroom, obviously, grabbed a cup of water. So I got this little, boom, right there, a little cup of water, small one. But earlier in the day, before I went here, I was just in that room. Give me a second, too, because I need to walk over and check on my little screen recording right here. Make sure everything's in order. Got some stuff running in the background. Hold on, Brad. All right, 31%. Goody. We goody. All right, now let's talk about this. I grabbed this cup of coffee, unbranded, but they had the cups over there with the lids. Grabbed it over here in the conference room. I just realized this shit is like a day old, but it also is like the thing that dispenses the coffee. It's not that hot, so yeah, but it's still like I drink my coffee black anyway, but it's warm and hold on, man. I'm like, this shit just tastes like I'm just drinking liquid caffeine at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I was so spoiled by the brown sugar maple that the fact that I got this now is fucking me up. I'm like, damn, man, I got some nasty shit going on. So we're gonna talk about some nasty shit. Let's talk that nasty shit. All right, man. Let's get serious for a second, man. A lot of times I get carried away in the beginning. I think when I first got in on the last video, I just rambled for about a good 10, 15. But I want to always start it off discussing that, hey, here we are, man. TTH, the Truancy Hour, 225. TTH, not sure how well that's showing up on camera because we got a lot of light and glare here in the conference room, which is great and beautiful because, we got the windows slightly open. We got the this right here. Hold on, man. It's really interesting because it's translating very strangely in the what do you call this? In the camera view, but it's actually a black curtain. It's actually good for lighting. Like good for because how do I explain this? This on this university campus, what do you call this? Conference room. This particular room that I'm always in. This particular window is always facing east. So in the mornings, sun rises. You know what I'm saying? Comes through right here. Bop. That sunlight. But right now it's like kind of that would be south. So it's kind of right on the thing. So you're getting a mixture of the black curtain, the holes that are in it. You know what I'm saying? The openings, if you will, and the light seeping through it. So it looks really bright. It looks like a clear curtain. You can't really tell what's on the other side. You just see like a little tree branch or some shit, or a tree trunk. Excuse me. But TTH, man. Anyway, for back, that's a lighting conversation. Lighting conversation. Excuse me. TTH, the Truancy Hour. 225. We are on 25. You know what's better than 24? And if you know, you probably said it out loud. Anyway, yeah, we in here, man. I want to speak to you guys about this because I say this all the time. As long as I'm rocking them suits and got them joints, fresh out the whoomp womp, biggity bop. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of scatting and we do a lot of sound effects here because sometimes, man, you can't always find the words. When you can't find the words, just get them sound effects going. And the sound effects mean a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? You get used. I mean, I grew up in the hood, so I grew up in a black neighborhood. So you hear that shit all the time, and it just starts clicking. It starts making sense. You know what I'm saying? People be talking about umpteenth and like, yeah, the little woo wah wah, all that shit. You're like, okay, whatever. I get what you're saying. Because we can't always find the words sometimes. Sometimes we just live in our life, man. You got time to be looking for and searching for the correct vocabulary. You're not always on point vocabulary wise. Some people are better at math. Some people are better at talking. Some people are better at just living, working with their hands. You know how that go. So you got to improvise, adapt, and improvise the best you can in all the departments. And communication is best thing between everybody, right? Because if you catch my drift and I catch your drift, man, we rocking. That's it. We ain't got to be on point. We ain't got to be on the same page and force the issue. We don't always got to do that, man. I had to really think about certain friends of mine, and we're probably going to tap into a couple of them in a second. that just wasn't with the play, or they were just on their own type of time. It happens sometimes, man. That shit happens sometimes. Let me put the nasty ass coffee down, man. They call that shit a Pike Place roast because we got Pike Place up in Seattle. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. University mindset. University mindset. I want people to tap into themselves a little more. You understand? I want people to start loving and respecting themselves a lot more, a whole lot more. Whatever. I want you to understand it like this, man. A lot of people, in order to get higher wages, in order to have a better value of themselves, in order to finally accomplish things in life, goal wise, etc., whether it's their families, their immigrant families teaching them these things or whatever, they feel like the goal has to be going to university, college, community college, technical college, vocational institutes, art schools, cooking schools, all the etc.s, all the things that sit there and validate you with a form of certification or a form of degree. And those same certifications and degrees will get you higher pay. I'm not, hey man, go get paid. I ain't knocking nobody for getting higher pay. I want to make that clear. I'm not knocking nobody getting paid at all by any means, right? So they say. So they say. But you got to be a little more careful and tactful nowadays, right? People will sit there and value their existence, or excuse me, they'll place a value on their own existence or their own being based off of this wage, this number, this amount of money you're making per year, or that you're promised per year. You understand? Whether you're getting a salary or getting paid by the hour, right? That's the other aspect about this. So be careful with that. People feel like you live your whole life being tested from grades K through 12 and then even in college, right? You're getting tested constantly. You're constantly getting tested. You're constantly having to prove yourself to somebody else's grading system. You will degrade yourself simply based off of not living up to the expectations of someone else's grading system. People will degrade themselves whether they know it or not based off of someone else's grading system. And I'm here to tell you, like, hey, man, you yourself in your personal life, hopefully you have one. Hopefully you have a life, right? In your personal life, understand the degree of things that you have survived, withstood, and can handle. And you also understand the degree of things that you will no longer handle or deal with. You understand the threshold of things that you will no longer tolerate moving forward, or even in this moment right now. You understand them things way better than anyone else. Therefore, you can simply start certifying yourself as a human being, simply certifying your soul's experience on this planet, if you will, based off of these situations. Even more importantly, just simply loving and respecting yourself to the core. Having an honest love and respect for yourself, an honest love and respect for yourself. Love and respect for oneself. Take ego out of it. Sometimes some people need to tap into the ego just to, I'm trying to think of the other way, like, dig yourself out of that rut. Get yourself out of that hole that you've dug for yourself. Trying to rebuild and climb out of the bullshit that you have put yourself through and continue to put yourself, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Like, there's people who have like put themselves through things. There's people who are going through stuff because their own family members, neighborhood people in school make them feel like shit. They keep burying them deeper than they deserve to be. And you have to build yourself to get out of that shit. And when you really start reflecting on your purpose and your function and who you are and what you've actually accomplished, big or small, you start really gassing yourself up and letting your ego inflate so you can climb out of that fucking hole that's being dug for you that you're sitting in. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Who gives a fuck? Inflate the ego if you need to. Sometimes you have to inflate the ego to get on that fucking balloon, if not that hot air balloon, that hot gas of shit of an ego that you have, just to climb out of that fucking hole that you're in. Some people stay on that hot gas of shit. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because I don't know how low people have been. I know my life. I know where I've been. I know when I've gassed myself up. You understand? I know those times. I'm aware of that. So that's why I want to impart, when I have access here to these university spaces and places, I'm here, I get a sense of peace, I get a sense of wisdom, and I want to impart that same wisdom and energy through the screen out here and make it last for, who knows how long, how many years this will exist. And somebody's going to find this maybe a year down the line. Somebody's going to find this maybe next week, 2 weeks from now. Who the fuck knows? I don't care as long as you find it and it hits you in the right way. That's what matters to me. Because I'm here getting this shit for myself. You understand? I'm here experiencing something right now for myself. All these hours throughout the day that I get access to the conference room, that I get access to the study room, that I get access to the rooms, and just the feeling of being on campus and just being around everyone else's hopes and dreams. but just understanding like their hopes and dreams have nothing to do with me. Do you understand? Their hopes and dreams and personal value systems, positive or not, don't really, they have nothing, they don't apply to me. They resonate. The energy, the essence of the energy resonates. But being around it and understanding and meeting some of these students, meeting some of these kids, and some of these people that are actually certified, have degrees and have careers, meeting these people and just understanding like they have a different value system than I do. But I want to impart that, hey man, whether you're looking for that, whether you got it for yourself or not, I just want to let you know, man, you yourself as a human being, as a soul on this earth, and as a soul within your current body, whether you're proud or happy of the current body that you've been given or not, you need to start loving and respecting yourself. You need to start certifying yourself as a human being. We all deserve to be loved. You understand? We all deserve to be loved. We all deserve to be respected. And it starts with the self. It starts with the self, man. I don't want people to start loving you because you get paid a certain amount. I want people to respect you because you're getting paid a certain amount. I don't want someone to love you because you finally got that degree. I don't want someone to respect you because you finally got that degree. No, I want you to start loving yourself for yourself, whoever you are right now. Start remembering like, yeah, that time I gave up that seat for that old lady on the bus. I was a good person then, and I am still one now. All the simple et ceteras, man. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Really start loving and valuing yourself for every little thing. All that little shit amounts to one big pile of good shit. I ain't talking about shit in a shitty way. We're talking about compost. You know what I'm saying? All them good things recycle themselves back into the body. Whether it's affirmations, application of good practices. You understand? Positive affirmations and applications of great practices. All that stuff goes back into yourself, man. That shit is very important. Very important. And simply starting today, if not this week, or just doing a little bit at a time, you get farther than a lot of people who want to stay digging a fucking hole for themselves, man. They have nothing to do with you. I don't care if you're related to them. I don't care if they're your former friend, your friend right now currently, and you don't even understand it yet. They have nothing to do with you. Start doing a little more for yourself. You start building a higher threshold, if not in a tank of energy within yourself, whether you believe it or not. And you can start distributing that love and respect to other people. And you'll see who just takes and doesn't give back. You'll see who just takes and also wants to keep taking and stealing from you, sapping energy from you. You'll find out who's who. But more importantly, just don't lose sight of who you are. Don't lose sight, don't lose knowledge of who you are. University mindset. I want people to tap into the university of themselves, man. Stop valuing these things outside of yourself. Do these things because, yes, you need to sit there and navigate the world, make that money, do what you got to do, etc., and put yourself in position for better stuff, better resources. I respect that. More important than me respecting that, respect yourself, please. Please respect yourself. Please love yourself. I want that for everyone. That way, when we walk down the street, there's less people pressured by bullshit, and we have a little more love and respect for each other, and we can carry on and create a real community out there, man. This is where it starts, man. A lot of people afraid to leave the house, man. A lot of people afraid to leave the house. Hopefully, my content finds you. A lot of people afraid to leave that library where they're sitting at. Hopefully, my content finds you while you're sitting there. A lot of people, from point A to B are sitting there on transit. Point A to B, they're in their car, taking them 50-minute rides or whatever the fuck. Hopefully this shit finds you in transit. Hopefully this shit finds you at the right time. I don't care where it finds you. I just hope that it finds you at the right time and you're in a good, positive mindset to receive these things. And hopefully, listen, I don't have to be your teacher. I'm not trying to be your teacher. I'm just here with a sense of wisdom that I want to impart out there publicly, put it out to the universe on YouTube and shit. That's it. That's it. You understand? Digital footprint, keeping it positive. When you follow them footprints, my digital footprint, you're going to find something good, positive. You're going to look between the details. You might find some negative shit too, but who cares, bruh? That has nothing to do with you. That's me working on my shit publicly and openly. But more importantly, hopefully you can take, the good with the bad. Some people like eating pizza. They don't like the crust. You ain't fucking with the crust. Don't worry about the crust. Leave it where it is. Just worry about the damn pizza. Cheese, tomato sauce. What we got? Cheese, tomato sauce. You a pepperoni person? I'm more of a chicken guy, man. I fuck with the chicken. I ain't trying to eat the pork. That's just me, though. That's by choice, man. Let's get into the topic today. University mindset. I want you to start loving and respecting yourself. Certify yourself, man. Certify yourself based off the degrees of things in your life that you understand well. You know yourself better than anyone else, man. You know that. Ooh. Your boy got a bunch of phlegm. I should have hit there and blew the nose a while ago. I forgot to do all that. We keep him in a warm in this piece, man. Let's see how we doing. Hey, man, I'm over here flexing the stomach. You know what I'm saying? I'm over like, damn. Oh, All I had was eggs and rice in the morning. Eggs, rice, and some OJ. That's it. Check this out, man. This is the Truancy Hour. 225. TTH 225. TTH 225. Talk about some parables here, man. When I say parables, a lot of that is like stories, short stories, and just things to learn from. I call it a parable because I don't necessarily put names and faces. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like an overall story. Maybe we'll just say like, sometimes we'll say Mr. Smith. I'll come up with a name as we go. The parables, neighborhood gentleman. That's the one I wanted to talk about with the neighborhood gentleman. I wanted to speak about this. This is at the top of my list of things that I was supposed to speak about. I ended up talking about it's right here. It takes effort to not be stupid. It takes effort to not be stupid was the one I did last video recording. That one was important because it was more recent. The parables of the neighborhood gentleman was something that probably came across my mind either at night or like on the way as I was walking, and I was like, this is something I feel like I want to expound on a bit, with as much time, short amount of time as I have, and hopefully I can cover base on a couple of things that make it make sense. The neighborhood gentleman, man, he remains calm and nice, and he handles business. You understand? That's the neighborhood gentleman, man. I want to talk about some of you guys, because some of y'all be living in the fucking suburbs, man. Suburban neighborhood gentleman, he just understands the bullshit and all them kids is playing stickball, kickball, whatever the fuck they do. They're over here on bikes and whatever, and some people just do stupid shit in the area, in the neighborhood. So whatever, man. So I can't really speak about the suburb dude because I don't know what the tragedies are like over there, man. Maybe drugs, I don't know. That's some later on shit, right? With teens and shit. There be kids that be drinking early though. That's a whole other conversation. But check this out. Neighborhood gentleman in my neighborhood, man. This dude, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna call the man Mr. Jackson or some shit, bro. Hold on, man. Let me think about his last name. You gotta really think about. I forgot this dude's name, man. We're gonna say Mr. Mr. I don't even think his last name was Jackson. Hold on, I gotta see who this female is. Let me look across, man. She looking right. I like her. If she come around this way, I'm gonna have to say, "What's your What's your name? What department you work in?" I'm gonna have to turn to Mr. Jackson real quick. Transform. Shout out to Mr. Jackson, man. That's what we're gonna call him for now, Mr. Jackson, man. This man, I'm gonna use him as an example. That's it. When we're making up names, like I said, it's a parable. So just follow me here. I don't even know if his last name is Jackson. It's probably Jenkins or some shit, or Washington. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do that. Fuck that, Mr. Washington. Actually, we can talk about Mr. Washington because I actually know Mr. Washington. So we'll talk about Mr. Washington, and we're gonna create a parable around him. You know what I'm saying? And kind of combine him with a couple other neighborhood guys I know. But I will speak about one particular neighborhood dude I know. I just don't want to put a name to his face and a face to his name and whatever. So we're just gonna say Mr. Washington for now. But I actually know Mr. Washington. That's the point I'm making. And a Mr. Jackson because he was married to our teacher, Miss Jackson, which is funny. So I actually know these people, but we're just gonna say Mr. Washington for now. Mr. Washington's the gentleman, the neighborhood man. He in the hood. He growing up with us, man. All them kids gang banging. He's like, yo, man, come on. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk you through it. I know your mom. I know your dad. What's wrong with you? What's going on? And then it's like, let's have a conversation as men. He's always that type of guy, man. He's like, man, I see y'all gang banging. I see y'all doing that shit. I ain't here to stop none of that, but come on, man. Don't bring that shit to my doorstep, man. Let's talk about that, man. I know you act like you own this shit, whatever. He sit there and talk to you like a gentleman. He's not trying to impose no masculinity, no bullshit. But it's like, what's going on here, man? Let me talk and get to know you, man. Come on, bro. Talk to me. Talk to me. You talk to me. You doing this shit in our neighborhood. We sharing the same space, man. Just talk to me. I ain't here to flex on nobody. I just want to see what's going on here. As adults, it's our responsibility to know what's going on here. Some of us are so used to living as kids, or I'm the youngest of all my cousins and brothers, so it's like I'm so used to being taken care of that I just be expecting the world to be a certain way. That's the way I am. It don't work that way, man. When you start getting older, people will look at you as someone to look up to. You keep on acting goofy because you've been goofy your whole life, man. You got to just really adjust sometimes and be on some adult shit when adult times matter. You understand? And it ain't easy for everyone, but you got to do what you have to do. Mr. Washington, man, this dude, he mows his lawn. That shit be looking like a crispy fade, bruh. You know what I'm saying? For those that didn't grow up in a black neighborhood and don't go to black barbers, you don't even know what the fuck that look like. But his lawn look like a crispy fade. Look up, hey man, when you get a chance, just Google Nas haircut. Little boozy haircut. His lawn be looking like that. It's like, damn, that's just immaculate. How does shit always stay like how do you know? But also, some people be losing their hairlines and shit. If you ain't got no hairline, it's dunzo. The grass, the lawn always got a hairline. It's just like boom, lawn and then the sidewalk or whatever. That's for my West Coasters, man. All my West Coast. They got the lawns out there, bro. I went to the East Coast. I didn't see no lawns. I was like, what the fuck? Where the lawns at? Where's the lawns at over here? You gotta go to like Queens, Long Island to see a lawn. Where's your lawn at, mister? Where's your lawn? I need some water, man. This coffee is like, you know? Look at that. That cup of water. You can't fuck that. You can't fuck that up. You can't fuck up a cup of water. I guess you could. And Mr. Washington's a gentleman, man. It's just like, all the kids, man, they rowdy, they bad about it. They on some rah-rah shit. Tripping. And Mr. Washington's just like chill about it. He's like, man, they got to get their energy out, so I get it. You're a gentleman, man. Sometimes people trip on him. He don't even trip. He's a gentleman. He's a nice day. He remains calm and nice and sets an example. You understand? He remains calm and nice and he sets an example. And over time, you got to understand, like over time, people start to recognize that. It takes a minute for people to really, get to know him. For those that are a little more standoffish, some people go through traumas and shit in the neighborhood. So if people are a little standoffish, they're like, man, Mr. Washington over here, chill, man. But what's he really going through? What's he hiding? You come to find out, man, the man been through some shit himself, and he never tried to impose the shit he been through on other people. A lot of us do that, but he's one of the people that like, for the most part, I ain't gonna do that. He might cuss out his wife here and there because sometimes she got to get put in check. Sometimes she's the one tripping. He's like, hey, hold on, whoa, 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 whoa. Sometimes he puts his kids in check, whoa, 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 whoa. But that don't mean he sits there and traumatizes them. Do you understand? Words is one thing, man. Putting your hands on people and really traumatizing them, that's another thing. Mr. Washington doesn't do that shit. You understand? Mr. Washington don't do that shit. He'll sit there and conversate with you. He might make you feel stupid, but really it's really on you to accept and find out if you're doing some stupid ass shit or not. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Some people do some dumb ass shit and they try to sit there and blame everyone like, why are you trying to make me feel dumb? I was like, no, I'm literally telling you what you're doing. That's negative, if not bad. If you feel dumb about it, that's on you. I'm not gaslighting or playing no fucking mind game. This is just what it is. And Mr. Washington's the gentleman in the neighborhood, man. He's a neighborhood gentleman. It's someone I strive to be. I do want to shout out one of my teachers from elementary. He's somewhat of a Mr. Washington. He's actually Mr. Chappelle. Shout out to Mr. Chappelle. We used to talk about Chappelle's show in his class. He ran the gym class. He was, he worked in the gym class, the gymnasium at our elementary, and he was like one of the most fit people. Like he had a when I first got there, he had the salt and pepper, so he had his hair was still black, but then he had a couple grays and whites coming in. But at some point, he ended up just having all grays. That might have been when I already left the school or some shit. But I looked up to Mr. Chappelle because he was like in his 50s. He'd always walk around in sweats and shit. And he would just be playing basketball. He'd be making all the shots. You know what I'm saying? He's hitting all the shots. He would still do pull-ups and chin-ups and shit. He would do the jump rope. He would do the double dutch. He would show us like, yeah, you just get in there. I'm getting old, guys. Y'all better start doing it. He would teach us how to juggle with the actual, whether it was like the bean bags or the ball things or whatever, or like the actual scarves. You throw the scarves, they just kind of float up there. But he teach you how to juggle. Pause. Basketball, chin-ups, juggling, jump rope, running, dodgeball, kickball, you name it, man. Mr. Chappelle was a man. He was teaching all the elementary kids, and he just stayed on point. And I see him around. He'd be driving a nice car in the neighborhood, man. I was, oh shit, Mr. Chappelle. Oh shit. And I was told, like, I actually knew his godson or whatever, or his grandson or godson. It was one or the other. Shout out to my friend Isaac. And I was like, man, I told him last time me and Isaac were kicking it, we grabbed some lunch. He said, man, I owe you a lunch, man. Come on. Boom. We went out, we hanged out. I said, man, bro, you're a relative, Mr. Chappelle. That's who I strive to be. Like, I just want to be like an old fit dude. Fuck all this other shit. I'm trying to be in my 50s jumping rope, showing people I still got it. You know what I'm saying? My joints are strong. Like, fuck that other shit. But Mr. Chappelle and Mr. Washington, I'm trying to be in that in between where I'm like, I'm trying to be neighborhood gentleman and just fit as hell. You understand? That's what I'm trying to do. That's just me. That's just what I grew up around. I'm trying to be on that type of time. But check this out, man. I'll tell you like this. On to another note. I bet I gotta check the time on here. I didn't even know that much time went past. That's kind of crazy. The hell? Hey, man. Neighborhood gentleman right there. Mr. Washington, man. He sets a great example that is either followed in the moment or finally recognized after maturing. He sets a great example that is either followed in the moment or finally recognized after maturing. And Mr. Washington will sit there, break up some fights. He'll even sit there and try to ask people like, "What's really going on with you, man? Why are you doing this, man?" I remember one time, two guys I knew. I spoke about this one guy in the last video. He was the guy. He ended up, he was doing a lot of neighborhood crazy shit, but he ended up, finally just coming out as gay and getting rid of the street life in his life. But he was sitting there going head up with one of my homies. They sit there and fought on the block one time, and then a form of Mr. Washington, one of them at least, over on 21st, he hopped out. I was like, "Hey, man, what y'all doing?" Because they were fighting on his lawn, throwing hands. So he broke up the fight. And then, the thing is, in that area of time, middle 2000s, mid to late 2000s, we had enough respect for our elders where it's just like, all right, if the older man breaking up the fight, we breaking up the fight. So the guy, Mr. Washington, goes up to me and he's like, "Hey, why didn't you stop the fight?" I was like, "Well, they're getting their one-on-one, man. I'm going to let them get their one-on-one." He said, "Nah, man, y'all don't need to be fighting. You always sit there and help your friend. Always sit there and help your friend." The funny part about it was my friend who got beat up, he agreed to fight the dude. None of us wanted to fight, bro. Because I was like, "Bro, we're over here playing with water guns right now. We don't care about you right now. We really don't care about you." But he came around here beefing with the homie because the homie was false, we call it false claiming and shit. False claim. That's what, my homie's retarded though. My friend's retarded though. He just sat there and, actually, I say this like with jest and to be funny, but he's actually like probably legit retarded. But he was over there just false claiming the wrong hood and all this shit, and then the gay dude sat there and was sitting there trying to check him for it. It's funny because both of them went down separate paths that were no longer street life. A lot of that street life shit don't last, man. A lot of people, there's no long lasting career in that shit. It's just like, yeah, this was my glory days, etc. Ain't no motherfucker in his 50s like the best in the streets, man. Maybe on some organized crime, but maybe not like the illest in the streets, man. If you're 50 years old in the streets, you're retarded. All right, whatever. Anyway, so it's funny because Mr. Washington pretty comes out. Actually, I don't know if that dude's last name is Washington. It might actually be. He come out and he's like, "No matter what's happening, man, you always jump in and protect your friends." But I'm like, yo, they was getting an honorable one-on-one. They had a fair one, a fair fight. I think where it got carried away was like when they started hitting him while he was down. And I'm thinking my friend's gonna pop up and then just start swinging back. Where I got mad was when he said, "Yeah, when your friend's getting whatever, you jump in." Because my friend was losing, and even though he agreed to the one-on-one, he looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, see," but like I said, bro, like he wasn't born with. Everybody knew this, but me. I was trying to be respectful and not say it, but everybody knew it all right away. They're like, "Yeah, he wasn't all there. The way he was born and raised, he's not all there." Come to find out later on, my coach is like, "Yeah, he seems normal, and he's actually a genius." Because my friend, he broke out of juvenile detention like close to a dozen times. Excuse me, juvenile detention and the psych ward at the children's hospital. He broke out of there at least a dozen times, 5 to a dozen times. A dozen might be an exaggeration, but he at least 5 times he broke out. It's fucking hilarious. Because he knew how to watch people's mannerisms. He knew how to watch the shift change. He knew when to break out. And he would always just go straight home. And his grandma was like, "Why the fuck are you home? Why are you here right now? You're supposed to be in juvie." He's like, "I ain't trying to be there." And he broke out every time. He found a way home. This motherfucker always finds his way home. But, later on, my coach is like, his mom was smoking crack and drinking. She was pregnant with him. She didn't give a fuck about life. Gave birth to him. Didn't give a fuck about him. Ended up having to move with his grandparents. They had a hard time giving a fuck about him too because he tripping too much. He just never had it easy. So like sometimes I give people grace because it's just like, yeah, your whole life nobody gave a fuck about you. I might have been one of the first few people in his life to ever give a fuck about him. and he did me dirty too. So it's just like, damn, ain't no winning. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say you ain't no winning when you're on the retarded spectrum. It's no winning when you sit there born with them deficits and you can't help it. See, he's only used to treating people the way that he's been treated his whole life by his own family. Shit, Mr. Washington sat there, showed him some love and grace. I don't remember if he came back down the block and still disrespected him. But the point I'm making is Mr. Washington never stopped being the gentleman and the person who cared for the kids that were fighting in the neighborhood, doing all the et cetera, all the whoop wop. Never stopped being the guy that remained calm. Never stopped being the guy who was nice and gracious, respectful. That's Mr. Washington, man. You understand? This is the parable I'm trying to tell you about, man. This is the gentleman. These people exist. People don't believe it, but it's like these people exist. You just got to identify them. If you fail to identify them, there's something within yourself that you have to sit there and self-examine. I've been seeing and peeping this shit for a long time. My own grandpa was a form of that, but I don't think he was on that level. Because he had a lot of bitterness, especially when his health started to deteriorate. He had a lot of bitterness because he wasn't able to conduct himself the way he'd like to. So he started to beat himself up, and I understand that. I probably would be in the same position if I was him. But it's all about self-betterment as we go. My grandpa was one of the most fit people. He was as strong and as fit as a fucking bodybuilder from the 80s type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't like all yoked up and all muscly, but he was functional muscles. We're talking about like those strong veiny muscles, pause, where it's just sitting there like he could do a lot of shit. You know, he was just sitting there carrying like little nephews and nieces on his arm, just sitting there like just holding them like this, like let's go. He was on some straight bodybuilder shit, just being strong. Fuck the bullshit, just strength. You know what I'm saying? His whole life, his strength being tested because he grew up in a time of war. Grown men, soldiers testing his strength when he was a little boy. I don't understand that plight. I don't understand that type of, you know what I'm saying, altercation or whatever, but just shit like that. Being treated as the man in the house because he was the only boy in the house with like two sisters and his mom and shit. Because, you know, his dad ended up coming here in the 30s. His dad, my great grandpa, was the first one in this country in the 30s. I was thinking about this the other day, man. I was thinking about this morning too, where I was like, you know, I grew up in it's funny as hell, bro. I grew up in this is why it's important for me to be Mr. Washington as well. I grew up in a black neighborhood, right? Central District, Seattle, from the 90s, 2000s, etc. You know, even till right now, I'm still living here, 2020s. I'll tell you like this, man. It's really interesting because it's a majority black neighborhood, but a lot of people who move here for the first time, generationally, they haven't been here in Seattle longer than my great grandpa set up roots here. My great grandpa set up roots here in the 30s. We've been in Seattle for a long time. A lot of people's families ain't been in Seattle that long. A lot of people's families ain't been in the Central District that long, if we're telling the truth too. They've been here, but they ain't really been here, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's a couple middle class families that sat there and established roots here, finally built a house here during a time period when you can build houses still affordably. And that's where a lot of this like middle class black areas like Madrona and Leshai, even like on this side in Cherry Hill, and a lot of middle class black families that started to emerge in the 80s and 90s, even throughout all the gangbanging and the drug epidemic. But it's really interesting because growing up, it's like I didn't get the resources I needed because a lot of people were prioritizing a lot of the black youth, like my friends and shit. And I wasn't really mad at that. But looking back, I was like, yo, they weren't as poor as I was. So it's kind of interesting. I say this to say because it's like you got to sit there and really, you know, like the people in my actual neighborhood, I'm talking about so like schools and community shit. That's one thing. But the actual people in my neighborhood, like Mr. Washington's and shit like that, they didn't discriminate. They didn't look at me as like oh, we're gonna let me not deal with you. Let me prioritize the black children. I'm gonna deal with everyone equally, and I'm on that kind of level personally. I think that there are certain things that probably the reason why it didn't bother me too much was because it was like, you know, there's certain things that pertain to them more than they pertain to me, so I get it. But if we're talking about a financial situation and like actually being fed today, I think I was struggling a lot, but I didn't really think about it like that. I just thought my friends probably needed the same amount of care that I did, so I didn't care. But that's also like, you know, that's the other side of like the faithful, you know, having faith Filipino kind of whatever that I was born and raised with. You know, like it's hard to explain that shit, but it's just one of the things like, hey man, we'll sit there and sacrifice so other people can be better. But it doesn't always work that way. But I thought about it today where I was like, that's funny how that works, man. But I don't really question it, if that makes sense. Because again, in the neighborhood, aside from schools that were allocating resources and time and attention to all my friends, community centers allocating time and attention to all my friends, we had random Mr. Washingtons in the area that they were dealing with real shit. They weren't looking at it at a scholastic, percentages kind of thing or whatever. They weren't looking at it from a technical standpoint. There were guys in the neighborhood, whether it was the hood ass dudes that was hustling, that was keeping me out of trouble, whether it was the fucking Mr. Washingtons in the neighborhood, whether it was gentlemen's to the G's, you know what I'm saying? From the G's to gents. Doesn't matter who it was, but they really looked out for me. So it's like I've always been tied to the streets more or less, man. These are the same motherfuckers that like they just do neighborhood shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter if they were just sitting there doing odd jobs or whatever, being gentlemen doing odd jobs, or just being gentlemen G's, you know what I'm saying? Gentlemen gangsters out there that were doing shit, putting the work in. But they always looked out for me and told me to stay in school, which is kind of crazy. So I've always had the balance. But when it's all said and done, I had more connection with those dudes at the end of the day than the fucking school shit that I was subjected to. Yeah, that school shit was weird. That's just me. Maybe it's just the schools I went to. It might have just been that. I'm gonna get into this point, man. I might have to read this twice. Hopefully, I wrote it correctly. It's written a little better in my phone, but I need to remember if it's written correctly, as I say right here. Here we go. I said, those that don't believe in Mr. Washington's efforts, or they naturally gravitate towards negativity, eventually live as shut-ins or wait for reasons to be activated negatively or angrily. Examples being crash out situations or government. So I'll read it again. Those that don't believe in his efforts, Mr. Washington, right, or naturally gravitate towards negativity, eventually live as shut-ins or wait for reasons to be activated negatively or angrily. Examples being crash out situations or government. You got to speak about the two sides of the coin here. Mr. Washington, if he could save the world, he would try, but it's not his, you know what I'm saying? It's not his personal intention to do that. It's not his job to do that. It's not his duty to do that. He's just really, you know what I'm saying? He's living as the example of how he'd like people to treat him, if not everyone to treat each other. But the other side of the coin is this, man. There's people who are going to sit there and run into Mr. Washington and be like, man, fuck all this bullshit. Fuck all this nice shit. This ain't how the world works. You understand? They're going to continue to crash out. They're going to continue to be on some negative shit. Whatever. Some people see and hear that shit through the grapevine, or they see and hear that shit for themselves. They experience Mr. Washington for themselves, and they still don't give a fuck. Like, who gives a fuck? This is some bullshit. Fuck all that. Fuck that shit. That's some bullshit. Fuck all that. Check this out, man. Let me hit the bathroom real quick. Oh shit, my bad. It's fucked up because now I thought I hit play, but I hit stop. So now I'm gonna have to sit there and combine some clips for the edit, which is gonna fuck me up, but it is what it is. All right, it is what it is. We're working with what we got. Yeah. No excuses, man. We're working with our own mistakes here. You understand? We're working with and through our own mistakes here. See, the thing about this, let me continue where I left off, man. Mr. Washington, sit there, and whether or not he has an influence on everyone or not, people can't deny his existence. But some people believe that that shit isn't what it is. Again, the same way that some people over time will mature and be like, you know, man, I start to understand Mr. Washington a little more now. I start to understand how this guy with this amount of strength or tact or patience for people, I understand how he can be this way now. They almost honor it in a certain way. They almost honor it because it's like, you know what, man, this guy right here was doing it for this long. For that long, he was being this upright and strong about everything. It's honorable. So they start to understand it over time. Some people see it right away. Some people are wise enough to see it right away, like the value of that particular human being, the value of conducting yourself in that manner. Some people see it right away, whether you're young or not. Others see it, and it takes time for them to really, you know, man, that makes sense why he was that way. It makes sense. You know, I like that. I respect that. Some people don't see it at all, and it might even take even longer. So everything that's either in between or never, we'll talk about those people. Some people, they might only start figuring it out once they start hitting age 50, age 60. Some people might not figure it out at all. Those are the people in between that figured out later. Those are people who are like, there's an in between and there's a never. So there's people who are never and there's people who are in between, right? Some of those people who want to remain and stay negative, well, hold on. Let's say this. Hopefully, they learn some positivity the other way. Hopefully, they learn it from maybe an influencer, maybe someone on social media, maybe a sports star. Maybe they gravitate towards that more. You understand? I got relatives that won't listen to me, but they'll sit there and gravitate and listen to someone else who's famous on the internet before they listen to me. And I'm like, you know what, man? Fuck it. I respect it. I just got to keep elevating myself. You know what I'm saying? But also, more importantly, I'm reaching who I reach. I might have one or two like legit fans that I know in person. People who really like fuck with the content and tap into shit. And I'm like, I don't know, I can't call it, but it is what it is. I appreciate that they love me, man. I appreciate that they really whatever. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that shit. Fuck it, I'll take what I can get. My worry is this, man. For everyone that's that in between or the never, you got to pay attention and be careful with these people, man. A lot of people want to continue to conduct themselves negatively, or they have yet to find someone that'll either save them or influence them in the right, proper way that works for them. To each their own, right? To each their own, right? But check this out, man. Some of those people are waiting to be activated negatively. I see it. I peep it sometimes, man. I see it and I peep it sometimes, man. Like in the worst way, the best way, the worst way, whatever. I be seeing it. I'll give you an example right here, man. There be some people that sit there and like, that's not how the world works. You know what I'm saying? This isn't how the world works. So that, stay positive, say the right things, and just keep doing your work, clocking in 9 to 5, whatever. That's not how the world works, whatever it is, man. Some people don't want to think that way. I respect it, sure. But hopefully you're not a never person. Hopefully you're an eventually person. I love to believe that everyone's an eventually person. Like eventually they'll figure it out. Eventually it makes sense. I worked with some dumbass dudes that like they didn't figure out life till their 40s. They're like, yeah, I'm just starting to figure out life right now in my 40s, man. It's taking me hella late. I was like, it ain't never too late, man. Because at least you're doing it now and not never. There's some people who never figured out. There's some people in their 50s still trying to gang bang and set trip and stupid ass shit. It be happening. Shit goes down, man. It goes down sometimes. Let's be honest. I'll tell you like this, man. With the current government administration, all that shit, there's people who I sit there and like they never wanted to gravitate towards Mr. Washington. They said, fuck that shit. Right? And they were shutting themselves in. They were shutting themselves in like, man, I ain't trying to do no community shit. I ain't trying to deal with nobody because the shit's gonna fall apart anyway. They just negative all the time. I don't want to do no form or whatever because that shit's not gonna work out anyway. I don't want to do this because that shit's just gonna crash. And I don't want to do no stocks. It's gonna crash anyway. I don't want to go to school because it's just gonna take time away anyway. I'm not gonna do a lot of shit because a lot of anyways. But anyway, you still a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Oh, anyways, because this anyways. Anyway, you still bitching. And the whole point I'm making is this, man. The moment that the powers that be, the moment that the negative powers that be really start showing their colors, like, man, I'm gonna just start gravitating toward that shit because you was on some goofy shit anyway. You was negative the whole time anyway. You didn't have much belief in yourself anyway. So you just start going that ways. Anyway. So I get it. You start seeing the way that this shit starts panning out. It's like, man, this is some bullshit, but I'm gonna just start fucking with this anyway. This is some negative shit, but I'm gonna just start fucking with it anyway. A lot of people ain't never tried, man. A lot of people ain't never tried and failed. You gotta understand something about Mr. Washington. When you start translating and reading between the lines, Mr. Washington can only do so much. He's not going out there to save people's lives. You gotta understand that. They're not going out there to save people's lives. There's a moment where that man gave up, but he never stopped trying to be nice. Do you understand? There's Mr. Washingtons all over the fucking country, all over your state, all over your county, all over your city. And they didn't gave up a long time ago on a couple things, whether it's their own dreams or some other shit. They themselves have actually given up too, to some degree. And they keep on trying still. That's the difference. That sets them apart from people who never give a fuck and people who actually give a fuck. They actually give a fuck. It's just that when they give a fuck, it looks and sounds different. Because the thing is, they're not in your life trying to change you. They're not in your life trying to feed you. They're not in your household trying to have influence or try to get your parents' numbers so they can keep in touch and keep tabs and make sure your grades are good. They don't care about none of that shit. In that moment, they just make sure they give a fuck. In that moment, they make sure to give a fuck. And that's what sets them apart from a lot of people. Every given moment, some people don't give a fuck. Every single moment, some people don't give a fuck. When are you going to start giving a fuck? You don't have to be Mr. Washington, but when in your life are you going to actually start to give a fuck? That's the clear difference between most people. You don't have to be on Mr. Washington's level, where you continually are humble. Whether you're humbling the next person, remaining a gentleman, whatever, just recognize that this person has probably lost a couple of things in their life as well. And that's why they're being nice to everyone, calm to everyone, because they don't want them to feel what they went through as well. Quite simply. Very simply. They went through some shit. They don't want anyone else to feel that way. They're a lot more warm and welcoming. And they continuously do that. You understand? There's plenty of them. There's plenty of Mr. Washingtons around the fucking country, planet, etc., world. The clear difference is, oh, they give a fuck when it matters. No, they just care. When are some of y'all going to start to give a fuck and care? It doesn't have to be when it matters, but just care in general. University mindset. I want people to start loving and respecting themselves just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. A lot of people never heard the saying, man. If everyone does a little bit, no one has to do a lot. If everybody did a little bit, no one has to do a lot. You understand? Want to get something done, and you know what you're so afraid to ask for, humbly. You can even ask like an asshole. You could be like, listen, I need to get this done, but I need it my way. All right, hey, you know what, man? I don't mind helping out. We can do things your way. I don't mind helping out a little bit, but let's get a little more people to help out, because if everyone does a little bit, no one has to do a lot. Quite simply. All right? When are people going to start giving a fuck? You know? Different areas too, man. I want people to start brushing their teeth for a little more. 30 seconds more, a minute more. I want people to start scrubbing their body a little more. Start with yourself, man, before you start trying to do it for others, man. Start giving a fuck about yourself and caring about yourself enough to take yourself out of those negative situations. You know what I'm saying? All of the negativity around you that you're so accustomed, and the chaos that you're so accustomed and used to being around. Start getting away from it. Start caring for yourself and giving a fuck a little more to get away from it and see what that does for you. Let's see if you want to go back to that. It really just comes down to care. It really just comes down to care. The same way Mr. Washington puts a lot of care into mowing that lawn and just telling people what he feels that day in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? All the et ceteras, man. There it is, man. That's all I can really say right there. I got to crop these. Well, I ain't going to say I got to crop these clips. I got to clip them all together right here. So I got to sit there and do the little editing. I'm just thinking about that. That's what's kind of on the tip of my brain right there. I'm like, damn, I got to put the fucking clips together on the VSDC, man. But there it is, man. For those wondering, for those that want to know, be right here, man. The Truancy Hour, 225, 225 right there, man. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Peace. I'm out.